There are nights that pass like any other ordinary, forgettable, gone before you even realize they were here. But then there are nights when heaven marks the time, nights when history turns, when destinies are tested, when God himself whispers, "Pay attention." Tonight, August 28, is not just another night on the calendar. For some of you listening right now, this could be the line in the sand. The moment where you either keep drifting into distraction, into emptiness, into the same cycles that have been breaking you, or you decide no more. You decide this is the night you take back your strength, your clarity, your calling. Young men, I'm speaking to you. You who have been lost in the noise of this culture, chasing relationships that don't last, trying to numb pain with shallow fixes, trying to look strong on the outside while you're bleeding on the inside. I know what it's like to feel that heaviness, but I also know this. God doesn't waste nights like this. He sets them apart. He uses them to wake you up, to shake you, to tell you, "Rise, son. It's time to return." There comes a moment in every man's life when the noise stops, the crowd quiets, the notifications fade, and you're left staring at yourself, no filters, no distractions, no escape. That moment feels like midnight. It's dark, it's heavy, it's uncomfortable, and yet it's in the midnight hour that the truth gets loudest, because when the world quiets, your soul finally has room to speak. Tonight, for some of you, is that midnight hour. You see, midnight isn't just about the clock. It's about the condition of your life. Midnight is when you realize the people you've been trying to impress can't save you. Midnight is when the things you thought would make you feel alive leave you empty. Midnight is when you stop running long enough to feel how lost you really are, and that's not weakness, it's grace, because the truth is, God does his greatest work in the dark. Think about it. Seeds grow in the soil before they ever see the sun. The strongest roots push down into the unseen earth long before the tree stands tall. Midnight is where transformation begins, and right now you might feel stuck in your own midnight. You might feel like you've been wandering in circles through bad relationships, through addictions, through silence you can't admit to anyone. But listen, your midnight is not your ending. It's the place where your destiny gets decided. Tonight, you have a choice. You can keep pretending, keep numbing, keep telling yourself tomorrow will be different. Or you can see midnight for what it really is. The call to rise, the call to leave behind everything that's been draining you, the call to step into the man you were created to be. And I'm not talking about some grand, dramatic gesture. I'm talking about a decision you make right now, in the quiet, when nobody's watching, because it's those midnight decisions that write the story of your life. So don't fear your midnight. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Lean into it. Because when you do, you'll discover what countless men before you have discovered. That midnight is not the end. Midnight is the turning point. Midnight is where God whispers, "Son, you're not finished yet. I'm not done with you." This is where your strength begins. We live in a culture that keeps feeding you empty calories for the soul. It tells you that if you just get the right girl, the right body, the right car, the right job, then you'll finally feel whole. But you already know the truth, don't you? You've chased it. You've gotten some of it. And instead of fulfillment, you found a moment of relief, followed by the same old hunger gnawing at you again. That's not an accident. That's the system. This world thrives on keeping men like you stuck in an endless loop of chasing what will never satisfy. Dating games, hookup culture, the constant swipe left, swipe right. It's all engineered to keep you shallow. You start thinking that value is in how many women pay attention to you, instead of the quality of the connection you build with one. And when it collapses, when it leaves you empty again, you blame yourself or you numb it out, and the cycle keeps spinning. It's not just about women either. It's the endless scrolling, the fake dopamine hits from likes and comments, the hours lost chasing shadows online. You think you're feeding yourself, but you're starving. Let me tell you why. Because you were not built for empty pursuits. You were not created to be a slave to pleasure or validation. You were created to be a man of purpose, a man of weight, a man who builds something real with his life. And deep down, you know it. That's why the shallow stuff feels good for a moment, but leaves you sick afterward because your soul is rejecting junk food. It's craving something deeper, something eternal. Tonight could be the night you decide you're done being drained, that you're done giving your energy, your time, your masculinity to things that only weaken you. You can step out of that loop. But it starts with honesty. It starts with looking at your habits, your relationships, your distractions, and asking, is this feeding me or is this draining me? And if it's draining you, cut it. Rip it out. Starve the thing that's been starving you. Because here's the truth. Every hour you spend chasing what doesn't matter is an hour stolen from what could matter most. And you don't get those hours back, but tonight you can start taking them back. You can choose to break free from empty pursuits. And when you do, you'll discover something this world doesn't want you to know. Fulfillment doesn't come from taking more. It comes from living for more. One of the hardest truths you'll ever face as a man is this: no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not a girlfriend, not a mentor. People can help you, they can guide you, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has to stand up. And if you've been waiting for life to magically get easier, waiting for someone to notice your pain, waiting for the perfect moment to change, brother, that moment isn't coming. The only thing that's coming is the choice you make right now. But here's the beauty of that truth. If no one's coming to save you, it also means no one is stopping you. You're not trapped by destiny. You're not chained by fate. You are freer than you realize. Every man who's ever risen from nothing, every man who's ever broken out of addiction, depression, heartbreak, or failure, he did it because he stopped waiting. He decided, he said, this ends with me tonight, and that decision, it's not loud, it's not glamorous. It doesn't need applause. It usually happens in silence, when you're alone, when no one's watching. It's when you stop lying to yourself. It's when you face the fact that the habits you've built are destroying you. It's when you finally admit that the way you've been living isn't working. That's when change starts, when you take radical ownership. Now, that doesn't mean you suddenly become perfect. Ownership doesn't mean you never fail again. It means you stop blaming, stop making excuses, stop outsourcing your manhood. You stop pointing fingers at women, at culture, at society, at your upbringing. Because as long as you blame, you remain chained. But the moment you own it, you can change it. Think of it like this. If you were handed a broken sword and told, go to war, you'd lose. But if you take that broken sword, own it, sharpen it, reforge it, it can become your greatest weapon. Your life is the same way. You might feel broken, you might feel unworthy, but when you take responsibility, when you say, this is mine and I will reforge it, then even your scars become your strength. Tonight could be that decision for you, to stop waiting for someone to fix it, to stop giving away your power, to say no more. Because freedom doesn't begin when someone saves you. Freedom begins when you save yourself. And you, my brother, you're more capable of that than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. Let's talk about silence, because silence is something most men don't know how to handle anymore. We've been trained to fill every second, music in our ears, notifications buzzing, endless scrolling. And here's the problem. When you never sit in silence, you never hear yourself. You never hear what's broken, what's hurting, or what's calling you higher. Most men are afraid of silence because silence forces you to face the truth, and the truth is uncomfortable. The truth reminds you of the promises you broke to yourself, the potential you haven't stepped into, the emptiness you've been covering with noise. That's why people drown themselves in distractions. They don't want to feel it. But the man who avoids silence avoids his soul. And here's the paradox. Silence is where transformation begins. Every great warrior, every prophet, every man of purpose learned how to retreat into the quiet. Why? Because the quiet strips you of the lies, the masks, the performance. In silence, you can't hide. In silence, it's just you and God, you and the truth. You and the question you've been running from. Who am I really becoming? If you're tired of chasing, tired of feeling lost, tired of trying to be everything for everyone and yet feeling empty inside, it's not more noise you need. It's silence, the kind of silence where you shut down the phone, turn off the screen, close the door, and face yourself. It won't feel good at first. It'll feel uncomfortable. You might even feel restless because your brain has been trained to need stimulation. But stay there, sit in it. That's where clarity comes, because silence is not absence. Silence is presence. When you strip away the noise, you discover a voice that was always there. The voice of your conscience, the voice of your calling, the voice of God Himself. And once you start hearing that voice, you can't go back to living shallow. You start making different choices, not out of pressure, but out of conviction. Men who learn silence become men who command respect. Not because they talk the loudest, but because they carry a weight, a steadiness, a strength that can't be faked. That's the kind of man the world is starving for. And that's the kind of man you can become if you have the courage to step into the quiet tonight. So the next time you feel that urge to reach for distraction, pause, choose silence. Because that silence might just be the doorway to the life you've been praying for. There's a question every man has to face at some point in his life. What do you actually stand for? Not what you pretend to stand for online, not what you say when people are watching. I mean, when it's just you, when no one will ever know the choice you made. What do you stand for then? Because here's the truth. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. You'll bend every time pressure comes. You'll compromise every time temptation knocks. You'll live as a man without roots, blown around by whatever's trending, whatever feels good, whatever makes people clap for you in the moment. And deep down, that's why so many men feel hollow, because they're living like shadows, not like men with substance. You want to know what makes a man strong. It's not muscles, it's not money, it's not how many women want him. Strength is conviction. Strength is when you draw a line inside yourself and say, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and I won't cross it. That's the backbone of a man. That's what creates trust, respect, and real influence. And yes, it's hard, because life will test that conviction. You'll be tempted to sell out, to water it down, to go with the crowd. You'll feel the weight of loneliness when you stand alone. But that's where you're forged. That's where your soul grows heavy enough to carry real purpose. Think about it. Every man you admire, every leader, every warrior, every prophet, they weren't great because life was easy. They were great because they stood for something when everyone else bowed down. And brother, you've got that same fire in you. You may not feel it right now. You may feel like you've lost too much, failed too much, wasted too much time. But it's still there, buried beneath the noise, the shame, the distractions. It's still burning. So tonight, I'm asking you to decide. Decide what kind of man you're going to be, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Decide what values you will not compromise on. Decide what lines you will not cross. Decide what you'll live for, and what you'll be willing to die for. Because without that decision, you're just drifting, and drifting men never change the world. But the moment you decide, everything shifts. You start walking differently, talking differently. You carry yourself with weight, with power, with clarity. You stop begging for approval because you know who you are. That's the man the world needs, and that's the man you can become if you choose tonight to stand. There's something I need you to understand as we close this out. Time is not waiting for you. We all think we have more of it. More chances, more tomorrows, more opportunities to finally get serious. But brother, time is the one thing you will never get back. And most men waste it. They waste it waiting for the right moment, waiting until they feel ready, waiting for life to hand them a sign. And by the time they finally wake up, years are gone, doors are closed, and they're left with regret. That's why tonight matters. That's why this moment is not ordinary, because you don't change your life in some vague future. You change it in the now. Every man who has ever turned his life around, every man who has ever risen from nothing into purpose. It happened because he made a choice in a moment just like this. He drew a line. He said, no more drifting, no more wasting, no more living small. From this moment I walk differently. But here's the key. Urgency doesn't mean panic. Urgency means presence. It means you stop putting off what matters most. You stop numbing yourself with distractions. You stop living like you've got forever. You wake up to the reality that this day, this night, might be the only chance you've got to make it count. And listen, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to free you. Because the moment you realize time is short, life suddenly becomes clear. You stop saying yes to what drains you. You stop giving your energy to what doesn't build you. You stop chasing what doesn't last. And instead, you invest in the things that echo beyond tonight. Your character, your faith, your discipline, your relationships, your purpose. The enemy of most men is not weakness, it's delay. It's the lie that says, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. All you ever have is now, and the men who understand that, the men who seize it, the men who act while others wait, those are the men who rise. So tonight, as you hear these words, I want you to decide. Will you let another night pass by wasted? Or will this be the night you finally step into who you were created to be? The choice is yours, and brother, if you choose it, the world will never be the same again. Brother, hear me tonight is not an ordinary night. You felt it in your chest as these words were spoken because deep down, you know this message wasn't random. It was for you. You know you can't go back to the same empty habits, the same shallow conversations, the same distractions that have been numbing your soul. Not after this. You've been called higher. You've been called deeper. You've been called to stop living like a shadow and start living like a man with fire, with purpose, with roots. And maybe nobody else sees it yet. Maybe the world looks at you and thinks you're still lost, still broken. But that doesn't matter. Heaven sees you. Destiny sees you. And tonight you see yourself. So I'm asking you, don't let this moment slip away. Don't let it fade like another video you scroll past and forget. Anchor it, claim it, make it real. If this message hit your spirit, if it stirred something inside you, then step into it right now. Hit that like button, not for me, but as a declaration that you're choosing change. Drop a comment, write the words, I choose to rise, or tell me the one thing you're leaving behind tonight. Share this video with another man who needs to wake up to his calling. And subscribe because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Together, we're building a brotherhood of men who refuse to drift, who refuse to waste time, who refuse to bow down to lesser lives. The world doesn't need more passive men. It needs warriors. It needs men of conviction. And tonight, that's you. This is your time. This is your calling. Don't let it pass.